I'm about hardcore training. I think you're about hardcore training too, and that's why you're here. That's why, like, you're becoming part of this crew. We're building this relationship. I'm setting examples for you. You're telling me about how I'm helping you. I'm teaching you things and sharing my knowledge and passion. You're learning from me. You're accelerating your experience level in the gym. And we're playing off each other. You know, the more I hear from you, the more I want to do for you. The more you hear from me, the better you get, the more you get things done in the gym, and the more you grow and change. So this is the dynamic that I'm aiming for here. Like, I'm striving for this, and I'm driven to do it. And we're going to get that dynamic, whether it's happening right now or whether it's happening in the future. We're going to get there. You're going to be part of this crew. You're going to be crushing it just like everybody else that you see crushing it in the gym. Hey, how's it going? It's October 11th, 2023. I got to tell you something funny. I always line up for these intros, and I always am unsure of the date. So I have to hit record, act like I'm going to say the date, then second guess myself. Then I always shut it off. I go to the computer, check the date, and yeah, it's October 11th, 2023. My name's Ryan. This is a GST training vlog, Winter Bulk, day 7. So today is a posterior focused day, posterior chain focused day, which means traps, spinal erectors, glutes, hamstrings, calves. Everything basically from the back of my ankles to the back of my neck is going to get activated today. We're going to start off with deadlifts. I think it's going to be a solid day. It's a 90% 1 rep max day. This is a GST microcycle 4, which always means it's at least 90% of my estimated 1 rep max. So I'm going to get pretty heavy today. I'll do plenty of warm-ups, get lined up, and we'll see how 90% is going to feel. I'm anticipating just a solid training day today. Today's definitely a discipline day for me. I'm motivated to be in here, but I am more in here with discipline driving me today. Because I feel good, but I also feel like I could totally just kind of like relax, melt into the couch today, watch some stuff on Netflix, something like that, you know, make forward progress with an article. And that happens sometimes. Like I said, I'm motivated to get in here, but discipline, you know, discipline is what carries you in the long game, the years, the decades. You're not always going to be motivated every day, but the discipline, just knowing that you want to do this, you need to do this, and you just get your ass in there and do it. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. So I am glad to have you. Oh, by the way, if this looks a little bit different, I am trying out a different camera lens today. I'm just trying out the Sony wide angle lens, and it has a little bit of a different look, if you can tell. I'm standing really close to this camera, but it looks like I'm a little bit far away. And this thing is great for vlogging. I'm not going to use it for training footage because it's really meant to be up close and personal. Like I said, I'm like a foot away from the lens, and you can see everything around me. So it's great for vlogging, like holding the camera, selfies, stuff like that. And I want to try to use it more because I like the look. I like the up close and personal thing. But like I said, it's not going to be great for training footage. It doesn't have a lot of zoom, and it's just not the best for that. So, enough of the small talk, enough of the chit chat. Deadlifts are calling my name. We need to get into that. 90% 1 rep max. Let's see where it takes us. And let's get some good old posterior chain destruction on the menu lined up. See you soon. All right, I'm warmed up, fully warmed up. I hit 4 warm-up sets, pyramiding up in weight, reducing my reps with each increase in weight because you're not trying to exhaust yourself during your warm-ups. You gotta stimulate, you gotta prepare, but you can't exhaust yourself. So I started with first set, like 12 reps, added some weight, dropped down to 8 reps, added some weight, dropped down to 5 reps, added some weight, dropped down to 3 reps, all right? Now I'm ready for my working set. My mindset here is I'm going to be happy with 1 rep because that's all I'm trying to do on microcycle 4 of a GST program. 1 rep. But if I come up and I feel really good and I want to hit another rep, I'm allowed to. because I have those plus reps in reserve. 1 plus, 1 plus AMRAP today. Of course, with the plus reps, stay away from failure. You will not go into an AMRAP set previously hitting sets to failure. That's not what you want to do. That's not going to max out your performance on the AMRAP set. Okay, here we go. 1 rep. I'm going to focus on trying to make my hips and my shoulders rise and fall together. That's going to ensure that I don't flip this to a Romanian deadlift form style. It's going to make sure that I maintain knee bend and I properly lift with glutes, hamstrings, quads. All right, I like to drop into position first, make sure that my body is positioned where I want it to be relative to the bar. That way when I come back down, I'm set. I can just drop down after taking that big breath in, bracing my core, and drive back up. All right, now obviously I felt like I had a little gas in the tank there, so I hit 3. On the tape, I should be able to look back and see that my hips and shoulders were rising and falling together. That felt really clean. It really felt like they were locked on a track together. So I can't wait to review that, make sure that I'm just not talking BS right now. I don't think I am. I'll see you for the next set. Whew. All right, you know the drill here, another 1 plus set. I threw on another 10 pounds just because I had those 5s laying there and they looked appetizing, so I wanted to toss them on there. After that first set, you might as well, especially when you're hitting 3, when you're just trying to get 1. So again, hips, shoulders, rising and falling together. It's challenging when you near your 1 rep max on any lift to maintain proper form. I get that, but you still have to think about the right mental cues. So I'm going to be shooting my hips back, driving up through my heels, lifting with my glutes primarily, flexing them forward to push my torso up, and of course, shoulders and hips rising and falling together. That's going to maintain proper conventional deadlift form. It's going to keep me from shifting to a different style of deadlift. And it is going to be tough to do that. There's no doubt that as you near your 1 rep max, your hips likely shoot up first, followed by your torso, but I'm going to do everything I can to fight that. Whew. All right. Now the thing that got tough there, surprisingly, I didn't chalk or anything, and I probably should have. My hands are a little wet. This bar, if you're not gripping this bar in the middle of the handles, it can easily get tippy on you because it's not a traditional trap bar that robs you of range of motion. There's no handle that comes up, keeping the weight centered. So this is a traditional depth bar. Kudos to Alico for doing that, by the way. I'm a fan. But if you don't grip it right, it can get tippy. Now you saw on the last rep, it started to tip a little bit, threw me off a little bit, but I maintained, kept the wrist strength the best that I could, and still got a solid 3. So I'm more than happy with that. Next time, I'm gonna chalk up, see if it makes a difference, because next is an AMRAP. I could be hanging on for longer. We'll see what happens. All right, got a little chalk on. I don't like to overload the chalk and get powder everywhere. A lot of that's just for show. You just need a little bit to dry your hands up, make things feel tight. All right, AMRAP set. All the tips from previous sets apply here. Get your positioning first. Get locked and loaded, good. Whew, super tight. Oh, man, you can tell how the chalk made a huge difference there. Oh. That was a great set. 7 reps, 90%, estimated 1 rep max, nice and clean. I'm gonna play this clip back to myself, and I bet I'm gonna see my hips and shoulders rising together, because I stayed so focused on that. Maintaining good form, controlling the negative, getting the benefits out of the negative portion of each rep, as well as the positive. That's what control is all about. Remember, controlled negative. I don't prefer a pause at the bottom, so you're not gonna see me pause at the bottom. And then explosive positive, but also with control. My head is in the game at all times there. So I'm connecting with my primary muscles, glutes, hamstrings, quads because I'm getting some knee bend, low back because it has to stay flexed. It has to stay statically flexed at all times so it stays safe. It's the connection between my primary working muscle groups of the lower body and the weight, the actual physical barbell in my hands. My torso is a connection point. And if that's loose, if that's rickety, that's no good. You can't have that. Everything has to be in check. And that's why you're seeing really nice reps with weight that's, relatively heavy for me. Whew. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep crushing the posterior chain with a even more hamstring dominant lift coming up. Low bar barbell good mornings. Of course, the glutes are gonna get involved there too. And those spinal erectors. Like I said, posterior destruction today, guys. That's what we're doing here. All right, I always recommend getting a single warm-up in for at least a single warm-up set in for every exercise you're doing. This might be similar to those deadlifts, but it's not the same. It's a technical lift. It's good to get that warm-up in to alert your CNS on what's happening next. Wake up those muscle fibers that need to fire. And also, you want to be doing that single warm-up set, at least a single. It strictly depends on how heavy you're going, how close to your 1 rep max you're getting with an exercise. This is a medium rep day, 10 rep day. I'm good with 1 warm-up set. But what's important is that I get in there and that I do it. Now, it's like I said, it alerts my CNS as to what form I'm going to be using, so it can wake up the proper muscle fibers needed for the lift. But also, this warm-up set, it told me personally, mentally, that I'm feeling really good with this lift. This way it felt light. It's been feeling light for a while. I wasn't sure how it would feel after the 90% work, especially a big AMRAP set like that, and some nice plus reps on sets 1 and 2. But it's so important to feel an exercise out, especially something like this, good mornings. It's a technical lift. And that felt good. So I'm not worried about pumping up the weight, getting at least to my working weight from last week, maybe even pushing above it. Again, it's easy to skip this stuff, these fine details, these single sets here and there, because you think it takes up too much time or it's not worth it. You're wrong. It's so worth it. It's 30 seconds, a minute. Come on, you have to give yourself some time to do things right. Not everything has to be rush here, rush there, rush here, rush there. It doesn't have to be like that. If you just stay focused on what you're doing, don't let outside sources distract you and suck up your valuable time, you'll have ample time to get things right and do what you're supposed to do to ensure that you're going to get the most out of every working set that you do. That's what I'm going to do right here. Now I've got the same weight load on as last week, 175. I'm going to hit this first working set for 175, hopefully lock in 10 nice, clean, solid reps, and then if it feels great, like I'm planning, I'm going to bump up. We're going 180 or possible 185 if I make the bump. Let's see how this goes. This has to feel good for me to progressively overload. Low bar position. Got that bar resting on the rear delt shelf. That was clean. Whew. That was clean as a mother, and it's definitely time to go up on that. That was beautiful. The reps felt solid. Back felt just locked, strong, and sturdy. Glutes were firing hard, squeezing together to drive myself up. You've got to get that glute squeeze, guys. Lock them in, push the torso up. Hamstrings at the bottom, glutes at the top. Let them rip. Get your reps in. All right, 180, 185. All right, I'm ready to rock. 2-3 minutes rest. It's ideal. I love that 2 to 5 minute rest range. I'm gonna hit the set and I'm gonna talk about why I chose to go up the amount of weight that I did. Oh yeah. Whew. Obviously I'm pushing it there, but those felt clean, man. They felt nice. No hiccups. No feeling of like loss of structural integrity anywhere. Those were solid. Let me catch my breath. I'm gonna tell you about why I only went up 5 pounds versus maybe say 10 or 15. All right, I take that back. I'm gonna hit this third working set and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell you why I chose to go 5 pounds instead of more. I'm in the zone right now with this one. I don't wanna take a 5-minute break, do the training chat, and then come back to it. I wanna stay in it. Man, that was almost too easy. I don't know what's up with good mornings lately, but I've been just crushing it. Post deadlift good mornings. Posterior chain is lit up already, activated. Whew. That felt good. Now, I promise, I'm gonna catch my breath. We're gonna sit down together. I'm gonna talk about progressive overload and how I don't want you to get greedy with how much you increase your weights each week. Could be a recipe for disaster, but let me catch my breath. I'll see you in a second. Maybe you're asking yourself why I'm smiling after some tough working sets. You know, I'm doing that because it's fun. I love it. How can you not love it? You're getting some physical work in. You're improving yourself, gaining strength, gaining muscle. You're perfecting a skill. Man, those things are fun. You got to enjoy training. You got to be on programming that ensures that you make progress and pushes you forward, and that makes it fun. It makes it mentally engaging. You like it. So I don't have any problem smiling after these working sets. Man, they're tough, They're hard. You have to do hard work, but they're fun. It's rewarding. So the topic of today's training chat is progressive overload, specifically how much you should increase weight when it's time to move up. A lot of people have this misconception in their head that they should increase their weight, 5 to 10 pounds every week on lifts. And they get upset with themselves. They think they're failing if they don't do that. That's so unrealistic. It's a terrible mindset to get into. You're going to fail 100% if you have that mindset and if you put those massive expectations on yourself, I promise. That's not what you should do. Let's do a little math. Let's extrapolate a little bit. So let's say you're going to add 5 pounds to every lift every week for a year, and that's the expectation you put on yourself because you read that in some dumbass article. All right? You read that that's the standard. That's what you should shoot for. It's nonsense. That's BS. Let's get that out of the way. Because extrapolating that out, 5 pounds times 52 weeks in a year, right? So we got 250 for 50 weeks, plus another 2 weeks, another 10 pounds, 260 pounds. Now, ask yourself, realistically, do you think you're going to add 260 pounds to a lift, let alone all your lifts in 1 year's time? If you're a complete beginner, maybe you're going to do that on a squat or a deadlift, something like that. But that's only in that specific situation. Most of us are not in that situation. And if you do that, and you're a beginner and you add some of that type of weight to a lift, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations. But that's not reality after that first year. No way in hell. And if you think about other lifts, let's pick some other lifts. Let's say close grip bench press, and let's say barbell curls. Have you ever seen somebody curling 260 pounds on the barbell curl? I mean, I haven't. I've seen 225, Ronnie Coleman in a video. That's it. I've seen fake weights. I've seen people do it with fake weights. It's clearly fake weights. But it's not realistic. And it's not. Even on close grip bench press. Are you really going to be hitting, let's say you're starting as a pure beginner and you're starting with like 45, maybe 90 pounds on your opening lifts for the close grip bench press opening reps? Are you really going to add on 260 pounds in a year's time to that? And all of a sudden you're going to be pushing 305 to 350. No, you're not going to do that. You are not going to do that. It's not realistic. So 5 pounds a week, it's unrealistic in the long term. 10 pounds a week, I mean, it even gets more unrealistic. You can't be expecting that. So my illustration with the barbell good mornings. One way that I like to think about things is percentages. So I had 170 pounds on the bar, right? A 10% increase would have been 17 pounds. A 5% increase, 8.5 pounds. Now I know that if I'm adding 10 pounds a week, if I'm expecting that, I'm being too greedy, especially at this stage in the game for me. But that's greedy for virtually anybody. So I added 5 pounds because I know that next week is going to come quick. I'm going to have the chance to bump up. I'm going to stay safe. I'm going to make some progressive overload in volume on 5 pounds. I could have made more on 10. Maybe I would have got it. I don't know that. Maybe I would have got hurt. The point is, I wasn't greedy, and I had good reasoning behind it. Experience, knowledge, just really good reasoning, thought-out reasoning behind it. Those are the type of decisions that you need to make when you're in the gym by yourself, and nobody's there to say, hey, man, pull back a little bit. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Be happy with the 5 pounds. Be happy with maybe the same weight as last week with a couple extra reps. Be happy with some progress. And that can happen when you're alone. You can get greedy. Nobody's going to tell you any different. You're going to listen to the devil on your shoulder, not the angel. But it can also happen when you're with a crew. When you're with a crew, you don't want to disappoint your buddies. You want to push weight. You want to push as much weight as you can, especially if you're a competitive guy. You want to try to beat your friends. Nothing wrong with friendly competition. But you also have to keep in mind smart training, longevity, smart training principles. Those are going to ensure that you feel your best that day, that you don't do something stupid that day, and that you can come back next week and you can make the progress that the devil on your shoulder wanted you to make at the present time this week. You're going to have the time. You're going to have the opportunities to bump up in weight. And your body can only gain strength at such a rate anyway, so don't push it. Not pushing it, to me, I believe that it elongates your strength gain trend line. Because if you're just pushing it max every week, you're quickly going to burn out. You're going to run out of the ability to gain strength. It's just not as healthy. It's not as safe. But if you're making small, gradual progressions over time, you're going to get this nice strength trend line, just this nice, smooth trend line. And that feels good. Like it looks good on paper, but it just feels good for your body because all the adaptions can occur as you're working up that trend line. You know, you can build up tendon strength, muscle strength, CNS adaptation. You can focus on your form, mind-muscle connection, build up those things as well. You're not going to get all those things if you're just obliterating your muscles every week, putting on as much weight as you can, and pushing yourself to failure. So the lesson here, the big lesson here is don't expect to gain 5 pounds a week on a lift. I don't care what lift it is. Maybe for a bit, yes. Long game, no. And also, just make the smart decisions. Be cool with yourself when you're trying to make progress. You're going to make those progressions over time. It's going to happen. Give yourself time and just make the smart decisions. Just like I did today. I could have done more, but I feel like it was a smart decision, and I'm walking away smiling from the sets. I know that I stimulated my muscles, gave them the signals to grow, and that's what it's all about. You know I train for growth. That's what it's all about. The weight moves up on its own. I don't care if I'm setting like records or anything like that. I care that I'm working myself hard and that I'm making proper progressions over time so I stay safe. All right. What's next? What is next on the docket? I'm going to do some lunges today because I don't feel like doing split squats today. I feel like lunges. I want to mix it up a little bit. Give you something different to look at than split squats again. So let's get to it. Quad focused work. You know I got to hit that quad focused work today. Twice weekly GST frequency. It's a balanced program. It's dialed in, guys. I'm about to dial in quads. All right, let's get it. God damn, that was a rough set. Oh, that was all over the place. Bumping into the rack. Whew, losing balance. Whew. Man, that was heavy too. Ah, I loved it. I can tell you right now, each one of these sets is gonna suck. You can just tell, you know, this is just gonna be a crappy, hard exercise today. It's actually not crappy, it's a really good move, but it's gonna be tough. I'm not wanting to do this today, I should say that. Whew. rep count up. Otherwise you get stuck. Halfway. Shit. Grip is burning. 4 reps. Whew. Yeah, buddy, man. Toughest move of the day, right here. No doubt. But I'll get through it. 2 down, 1 to go. This is easily the set of the day that I'm looking the least forward to. Let's get this in before my grip starts wearing out. Focus on those quads. Quads, baby. Into here. 4 to go. That was good. I'm glad I did it. You finish a heavy set like that, a gruesome set, and you feel proud. Whew, I feel proud. All right, face pulls. Face pulls are an excellent move for the rear delts. They do activate the traps as well, but when I'm doing them, I'm focusing on rear delts. When you're doing them, I want you to focus on your rear delts too. These are a great move to counteract computer posture where you're hunched over, leaning forward, because these just take everything and they just pull it all back. And you're gonna see that when I'm doing them. I'm pulling back, I'm trying to pull here and even get a little rotation of that shoulder towards the back. That really hits the rear delt extra. It gives me that little extra flex. I really like to see it and feel it. So you're gonna watch me, you're gonna see me do that. I take the overhand grip and I'm basically coming back into a bicep pose, like a front double bicep pose. And I'm just pulling back as far as I can. Trying to get that little flip at the back there. Apart, I'm pulling the ropes apart and back. And I'm trying to pull them high too. Okay. So you could probably see, you know, I'm pulling back, I'm pulling up, I'm pulling apart. I'm trying to flip back, that last little flip, give me that extra rear delt flex. Now this variation, I feel, doesn't hit the traps as much as other variations. When I'm doing this, I'm really not feeling my traps. I'm feeling rear delts, and I'm good with that, because I'm not really doing these for traps. I mean, traps can move way more weight than what your rear delts can move. So they're working, they're stimulated, activating a little bit, but the focus, the growth focus, the stress focus is on the rear delts. Save your trap work for heavier work like shrugs and things like that. All right, this is that last set of face pulls. I also call these nerd busters, man, because they bust that computer nerd position. All right, that's gonna be it for face pulls. Face pulls are nice. Don't neglect your upper back. A lot of people do. They don't really do that at all. I mean, you're gonna hit your rear delts some when you do some rows and pull downs and stuff, but don't neglect really focusing in and dialing in your upper back. I have 2 lower body days. I always put upper back work on my lower body days. It's a smooth spot to put it. Doesn't really take away from anything, and you get to just hit the back side of your body. Like today, it's a posterior chain focus day. So I'm going all the way from ankles to neck. That's rear delts are in there. That's the back side of my body. It's just a small muscle group. And on my lower days is where I like to throw in the face pulls or rear pec deck flies for rear delts. And then on the other one, I'll throw in shrugs just to hit the traps real hard. So if you have time, you know, if you have space in your lower body days, most people do, throw in some upper back work. You're gonna really like it. It's a good spot for it. I've been doing it for years and I've had 0 issues with it at all. And honestly, if you don't have it in a specific program spot, you're probably not gonna do it, because it's one of those areas that you just don't think about. It's not as fun to train, especially rear delts. Traps, yeah, they're more fun. It's always great to have traps. Everybody loves that, most guys. But rear delts, it's just not something that's on our minds. So get it programmed in, get it going, keep it going, and be balanced from front delt to medial delt to rear delt. Man, it's time for me to check out. If you're not leaving the gym and you're not exhausted and wiped out, beat down, you know, you're not training that hard. You need to fucking train hard. And if you want to grow and change, make adaptations, you need to be uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable in the gym. And you saw that today. You saw that during some of my exercises, especially those lunges, man. Those things caught me off guard. There's something about dumbbell lunges or trap bar lunges, you know, where the weight is low and you're holding on to it. There's just so many extra muscles working compared to the barbell version. And the legs still get smoked, you know, there's no doubt about it, but just that extra grind, the grip, the trap supporting everything. I honestly think it's a little bit more demanding of the core too. There's just something about it with the weight being low. And that caught me off guard today. You could tell in that first set, that was a grinder. Second set and third set, my nervous system caught right onto the movement pattern, and I got to work and I got that done. That's the example I'm trying to set. There's hard things in the gym. There's hard things out of the gym. You need to step up and do those things. Get uncomfortable. That's where you grow. That's where the changes come in. So like I said, if you're not busting it and you're not feeling wiped out and you're not like proud of yourself because of the stuff you went through during each training session, there's room to move up the intensity, bump the intensity up, train harder, you know? You don't want to go into the gym and not break a sweat. You don't want to go into the gym and just feel like everything's easy today. I know I'm going to get it done. I know 100% I'm going to get it done. That's fine. It's better than nothing. I'll give you that. But it's not hardcore training. I'm about hardcore training. I think you're about hardcore training too, and that's why you're here. That's why, like, you're becoming part of this crew. We're building this relationship. I'm setting examples for you. You're telling me about how I'm helping you. I'm teaching you things and sharing my knowledge and passion. You're learning from me. You're accelerating your experience level in the gym. And we're playing off each other. You know, the more I hear from you, the more I want to do for you. The more you hear from me, the better you get, the more you get things done in the gym, and the more you grow and change. So this is the dynamic that I'm aiming for here. Like, I'm striving for this, and I'm driven to do it. And we're going to get that dynamic, whether it's happening right now or whether it's happening in the future. We're going to get there. You're going to be part of this crew. You're going to be crushing it just like everybody else that you see crushing it in the gym. All right, that's it. It's time for me to eat. You know, I'm getting that protein in, some carbs and fats as well. I love my macros, especially on a bulk, and it's time to do that. It's time to let my body absorb those nutrients, let my body grow, let my body recover. All right, that's enough talk, man. It's time to eat. I'll see you later. I'll see you next time. Have a good day today. Bye-bye.